Shalom, Israel. It's that time again. The ISUPK, under commanding General Yahana, presents the Lord's 57th annual Passover. That's right, the Lord's 57th annual Passover, April 4th, 2026, in Houston, Texas. All Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are commanded to observe the Lord's Passover. This will be the biggest Passover to date. You do not want to miss this. Fresh lamb, fresh wine, and bitter herbs as commanded by the Most High. Only $200 per person ages 17 and up. The biggest event of the year. There is only one Passover, and it's under commanding General Yahana. See you there, Israel. Shalom.
But we do it because we say we live in America. So now you want me to think that because your American philosophy outdo the Most High? The scriptures say you can't have two masters. But it sounds like to me, you have two masters. You done chose the American ways over the Most High ways. Now that you done that, you done put yourself above the Most High. That's what you're doing. That's what you have done. And my whole thing is this. When you realize that you done put yourself over the Most High, and when you learn you done it, do you turn away? Do you repent and turn away from it? Or do you keep celebrating them days? That is why what that scripture is saying is so real. Because when I found this truth, guess what happened? I put my birthday away. When I found this truth, I put the drugs away. When I found this truth, I quit whoring my sisters. When I found this truth, I started becoming a better man and a better person. Because now I know I'm on that narrow path. Now I know I'm on a righteous path. Now I know what I'm doing is going to get me somewhere. That is why not only should you be following these scriptures, or like Christ said, like he says, believe on me as the scriptures say believe on me, man. Not as you want to believe on me, not as you think that I am. You gotta really understand and comprehend what this brother been telling us the whole time.
All right, Shalom, Israel. This is the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yahana, where we teach so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians the truth about the Bible, that they are God's chosen people, the Israelites. This is the second day of Purim, which will be the end of Purim. And, we're just going to get right into it, y'all. As we can see, throughout the news, Iran has been hit yet again. They killed their Ayatollah, their supreme leader. And, if I've known anything, when you kill a radical religious group's leader, they usually don't turn off the heat. So World War III is up. I'm going to go into tonight the rest of the books, the rest of the chapters of Esther, break down this sister and her beautiful sacrifice, how everybody can learn something from this. Be courageous in this. Just because you're a woman does not mean you don't have to fight. Esther is a sister who was fighting for righteousness. She fought for righteousness. She proved it. She had to live it. And this is a book. This is an experience women can learn from, and how to be a righteous Israelite woman. Because so much of this is a mystery. Our culture is a mystery to us after being held in captivity for so long under this oppressor. Hopefully tonight I'll be able to show us how to be ourselves again. All right, we're going to go into Esther chapter 8. We're going to start at verse 1. Just a quick recap on what Officer Kalkazah taught yesterday. The Purim is a day in which we commemorate and remember the sacrifice that Esther, Mordecai, and brothers and sisters back then put forth so that we are alive today. Back then, the Persians were on top. The so-called Iranians today, they were in charge. Their empire was on top of the world back then, and they had taken into captivity our people, the Israelites, all 12 tribes. And Esther being taken captive after some debacle that this what do they call them? Persians?
Persian
what
and
is
Medes.
the Medes, the Persians. What is the biblical name though? Salakia. What are
Off the top of my head,
I forgot, but the Iranians, the Persians, this Iranian king, this Persian king, from what I understand, his name was Xerxes. He got into some kerfuffle with his wife, Ahasuerus, yeah, the king. Oh, Ahasuerus, excuse me, yeah, Ahasuerus. Right, exactly. So right next to it, right. From what I understand, they didn't rule very long in that period either. But this man, he got into some debate with his wife. His wife insulted him into to correct her so that no other woman would fall. He basically told her to go away, get out of here. As you disrespected me, I'll put you out. And then from that point on, he began to take on many other wives out of the captive nations that he had taken over. One such person, one such sister being Esther. Okay, so Esther is big, through against her own will, she becomes the wife of what's this man's name? Ahasuerus. He becomes the wife of Ahasuerus, and through time and age, an Edomite, Amalek, excuse me, he an Amalek of prestige, of honor in this captivity, in this age, comes against Mordecai, and thereby coming against Israelites everywhere and he whispers in the king's ear to put Israelites everywhere to death, puts a bounty on Israelites' head just because he basically had a brush up at the job. He didn't bend the knee, and that should tell you something about this oppressor we are under. Edom is the white man in the Bible. This Edomite had a what for all extents and purposes was a light brush up, a disagreement at the job, and you know what this Edomite said? I'm gonna kill all of them. I'm gonna put all of them. I'm gonna do my best to put them all under my foot. That's the spirit that is on these people. So before you start hugging and caring and trying to go along to get along, what do they say? Trying to have peace with these people who would not have peace with us. You should understand their spirit historically.
Right.
Now, this is an ancient spirit. You could go into more recent history to understand these people. What do you want to see? The Epstein files? What do you want to see? But that's the most recent, example of the kind of person that we are kept in captivity under. If you want to go even just a bit further beyond that, you have the crack epidemic. You have the crack epidemic was so cruel and so evil to blacks and Hispanics, man, that when white people suffered something similar, they called it an epidemic. They said we need to get these people help. They gave police officers shots, like one-use shots, to bring somebody from the cusp of death. What is that Narcan shot? If somebody was ODing on opioids, because that was a white people problem. But when black people had the crack epidemic from the CIA, white people said, that's your problem, you're criminals, you go die. It's you. Why are you falling for our traps? That's your problem. This is to show you the cruelty of the oppressor that we live with.
Right.
That is our neighbor, that is right next to us here in America, and abroad throughout the world, in Europe, and so on and so forth. And this is not so that you can pick up arms to go and battle this man. No, this is so that you can understand who you live with. You know what I mean? If there is a serial killer in your neighborhood, you should know about it. That's why they have those lists, Kyle Kazai. You know those lists, those predator, when a child predator moves into your neighborhood, they put everyone on notice, because he's here. You should know that he may do something again. Unfortunately, he lives next to you. This is all that the ISUPK does. We just notify you who you live next to, what they're really like, because if you listen to what they told you, you would think that this is the good guy. This is Superman.
Right.
This is the He-Man. This is the hero of the story. This is actually the villain. Okay? And as in the book of Esther, as in the book of the Bible, the oppressor is the villain. Esau is the villain. Ahasuerus is the villain, wanting to kill these people for no reason at all. Okay, if we could get a little bit out of that verse, but so on. But just to catch up to where we're gonna jump into as well, you know, Ammon, who is the Edomite that I'm talking about specifically, he came up against Mordecai, came up against the children of Israel, and through Esther's sacrifice, Hadassah, I think her name was Hadassah. Hadassah is her Hebrew name. Esther was her slave name. Through Hadassah's sacrifice, you know, the Israelites were delivered, or delivered from Haman at the moment. Ammon, whatever his Edomite name, he was put to death by the king because the queen, with her bravery, with her self-sacrifice, humbly came before the king and said, I'm not a king. I gotta let you know that this man wants to kill my people, kill my family, kill my kindred. What does this tell you? Blacks and Hispanics. The Bible is about race. The world is about race.
Right.
This is all about families, lineages, your loved ones. Think about that. Don't ever disregard that. When somebody tells you this is deeper than race, it's only about race. This is always about race. The law stops at race. The law starts at race. And this is to further clarify the reality that we all live in. Who are they bombing? They're not bombing by borderlines. They're bombing by race. You know what I mean? When it comes to Iranians, they don't care if you're a little girl, the Ayatollah. If you're Iranian, you can get it. So on and so forth. When they put crack in the into the neighborhoods of America, was it just any American neighborhood?
Right.
Was it just did they go by who's a certain tax bracket? No, they went by race. And this is something that if you ignore, it could lead to the end of your life and the loss of life of the people near you. Okay. So Agag was put to death by the king after Esther exposed his plot to destroy her kindred, her people, her family, her loved ones, her race. And the king, was happy to do it. They was happy to do it because Esther came in so beautifully, so kind, so gentle, just so one West, so so feminine. And I just a quick note, Black and his Latino women and Native women are the embodiment of femininity.
That's right.
Every woman on the earth looks towards you so that they can better understand how to be a better woman. So they can know how to be a good woman. They look at how you act, how you present yourself, how you carry yourself, how you dress, how you style your hair. There are, y'all had white people braiding y'all hair at one point in history. Goldilocks. You think white women weren't braiding their hair out? That was white women used to, roll in the mud, get up, go do whatever they was doing. You know what I mean? But just you living next to these nations, the Bible says this. Get me right on this, Kyle, because where the Bible in Deuteronomy it says, you'll be not a light to the nation, but you'll
the wisdom and understanding in the side of the nation.
Right. They'll look at how you carry yourself and see that you're wise.
Right.
See that you know more, you know better. Oh, they know how to avoid disease. They know how to, they know how to live on perpetually, essentially. And that's what they see that's what every nation sees in Black, Latino, and Native women, as well as brothers when, we all embody the spirit of God, embody the spirit of Christ, man. So, Agag is put to death, but there's still some unfinished business to be done. There's still some laws that were set forth from the king that need to be fixed. Now, once a king puts forth, back in these days, once the king puts forth a law, he cannot go back on his word. It's a sign of weakness. So, basically, the king has to come up with an idea to basically undo what Haman came up with. You could go ahead and read.
The book of Esther, chapter 8, verse 1. On that day did the king Ahasuerus give the house of Haman, the Jews' enemy, unto Esther the queen. And Mordecai came before the king, for Esther had told what he was unto her.
Okay, so basically, after Haman got put to death, everything Haman owned went straight to Hadassah, straight to Esther, straight to Mordecai, and it became their possession, which is very poetic because that's what's going to happen. That will be the kingdom of heaven. You will inherit everything that your ancestors worked for. Right. Your ancestors built this place and thereby built the world. Every invention, from the combustion engine to what they consider light bulbs, how electric alternating currents, and so on and so forth. Those things are the fruits of your labors, of your ancestors' labors that you have not eaten of. And when Christ comes back, everything that these billionaires own is going to be redistributed. It's going to be a redistribution of wealth.
Damn right.
And they might live through it. They might not. It's not my business. But it will be redistributed, just like how Haman, when he lost his life. How unfortunate. Mordecai and Hadassah was there to pick up the pieces and take on his possessions. Go on.
Okay. And if I could, of course. Now it's heavy because she was given everything that would have made her compromise. Everything that was offered to her that would have made her compromise. Because if you remember from last night, Ahasuerus was like, "What do you want? I'll give you anything that you want, even unto the half of the kingdom." And if she would have compromised right there, like, bet, give me half of the kingdom, then she would have lost her whole nation. But because she stood strong in, what the Most High wanted for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, not only did she save her people, but she also got that. And that happens so many times over and over again in the Bible. You see King Solomon, he asked for wisdom, and the Most High said, I'll give you wisdom, but I'll give you everything else as well because you didn't ask for that. It happens so many times, but it's because he didn't compromise. It's because she didn't compromise. And it's just heavy that she got that, and what the Most High wanted. Salakia.
Hey, yeah, that's correct. Because she knew what was truly important. See, at any point in time, you can sell yourself to get $1.
Right.
You can get $1 quick in America by selling your morality. That's something that they push for. They push for in America. Go sell some drugs. Go sell some butt. Go sell some. Go sell your kids. Goddamn. You can get some money in America by being immoral, amoral, whatever you want to call it. But this sister is a great and beautiful example, and that's why we honor her on this day for being completely moral, remaining, keeping in mind that what is important is the survival of not just myself, not me just being rich, not me just having a good meal, but if my brothers and sisters are in a good position as well. And that's something that, if TD Jakes, if all these other black politicians had, then we would be in a better spot. But we're not, because they look out for themselves when they should care for everyone else. Go on.
Book of Esther, chapter 8, verse 2. And the king took off his ring, which he had taken from Haman, and gave it unto Mordecai.
So this ring is essentially something that you can stamp on a letter. This is the same ring that Haman used earlier to create a law that would allow heathens to kill Israelites. Now the king is giving that to Mordecai. Go ahead.
And Esther set Mordecai over the house of Haman.
Go on.
Verse 3. And Esther spake yet again before the king, and fell down at his feet, and besought him with tears to put away the mischief of Haman the Agagite, and his device that he had devised against the Jews.
See, Esther wasn't stopping till the job was done. This man is dead. That's true. But the plot against her people is still spun. It's still out there. Think of this like how, if Donald Trump gets out of the office today, ICE is still active and wreaking havoc on Black and Hispanic neighborhoods.
Right.
Deporting people to places unknown. You could get real life disappeared out here. Now, Esther says the job ain't done. Donald Trump might be whatever. He might not be here, but we got to get rid of these evil people who are putting prices on my people's heads. Go ahead.
Verse 4. Then the king held out the golden scepter toward Esther. So Esther arose and stood before the king. Verse 5. And said, if it please the king, and if I have found favor in his sight, and the thing seem right before the king, and I be pleasing in his eyes, let it be written to reverse the letters devised by Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, which he wrote to destroy the Jews which are in all the king's provinces.
I'll be honest. Even after Esther got Haman murked off and all that, she's still keeping it very pleasing, very demure, very demure. That's what the sister said.
Yeah.
She's keeping it very pleasing to this man, so they just go smoothly. Even though she has his favor, this man is head over heels for her. She's still keeping it very, I almost want to say, professional. Later, I'm gonna pull out how she really feels about this man, but she is just so soothing, so appreciative of him, so kind and caring and loving in the way that she's communicating to the king, respectful, and as in how one would conduct themselves in a public court. That's how she's coming, and this is all a note that everybody could take away, depending on what you want to do. You could talk to him nice, or you could talk to him how you want to talk to him. But they say that you catch more flies with sugar. What that ain't that what they say? With honey, right? But these are little notes that that everybody could kind of pay attention to. Now, this is a heathen. This man is a heathen. God is not with Ahasuerus, but he is with Esther. But Esther still is paying this man honors. Just keep that in mind. Go ahead, keep reading.
Verse 6. For how can I endure to see the evil that shall come unto my people?
Say that again.
For how can I endure to see the evil that shall come unto my people?
See, a lot of Blacks and Hispanics nowadays, they don't care what we suffer. They don't care. They're rich, a Michael Jordan type. Give me some examples. People like that, Black and Hispanic people like that, they don't care how much Nicki Minaj, she'll sell us out in a quick second. She doesn't care what evils we have to suffer. She doesn't care about the Nicki Minaj isn't our people, of course, but this is just how a lot of Black and Latino rich people often treat lesser and poor people, like a little Yachty. I'm trying to say somebody people know who do just basically all of these Black, if they have not spoken up against the oppression of Blacks and Latinos, the only celebrity I really appreciate is Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick got fired for me. Right. Colin Kaepernick got fired because he's rich. He got a white mama. But he saw how police were treating Black people who weren't rich, and he said that ain't right. He saw the murder of Philando Castile, Trayvon Martin, and so on and so forth, and he said it's enough. It's enough. Enough is enough. I'm too actually, I'll take that out. Now, that brother has a redeeming quality like Esther here has. Go ahead, read that again.
For how can I endure to see the evil that shall come unto my people? Or how can I endure to see the destruction of my kindred?
That's the spirit of God.
Uh,
You should feel what your people feel. You should feel, some damn compassion. Are you soulless? Do you have no heart? Do you care? And a lot of times, this irreverent, this I could care less spirit, it comes from the Christian church. It comes from the Christian church. The Christian church will teach you if you don't have money, God doesn't love you. If you're not rich, you're not blessed, which is just so anti-Christ.
right.
Christ was broke, right? Jesus Christ didn't have no money. Did y'all know that? Jesus Christ didn't have no money. When he got some money, guess who he gave it to? Other poor people. Your Christian church is just so anti-Christ. If you listen to them, then you will never have this spirit right here. The spirit of compassion, the spirit of love for your people. This is the love that Jesus Christ spoke about. The loving one another, loving each other is not being able to go and sleep, go to sleep at night comfortably knowing that your people are going through it, man. I'm gonna tell you something. I don't get a lot of sleep at night because I know that I gotta work harder. I gotta work harder so that we can get out of captivity, so that we all can stop suffering. I have to, make more videos. I have to build. I don't know what the objective is depending on the day. I might have to fix your car. I might have to come and counsel you. Go and help help raise up some children, or whatever the case might be. And I do it with gladness because I know that this is the least I could do to really help my people. If I was in a position like Esther, I definitely gonna hold. I'm a hold it down. Gotta hold it down. Now, ask yourself, who is in a position like this sister, and are they holding it down? Do they feel do they feel the evil being done towards us, towards their people, or not? Go ahead, you can go to the next verse, Zach.
Verse 7. Then the king Ahasuerus said unto Esther the queen and to Mordecai the Jew, Behold, I have given Esther the house of Haman, and him they have hanged upon the gallows, because he laid his hand upon the Jews.
The king's like, look, man, I killed him. He's dead. Hey, baby, what more do you want, sister? Can we get her a mic? Salakia.
Salakia, sir, if I may. Was the king and his old wife, were they heathens or were they Israelites?
His old wife, I assume, was a heathen, especially by her name. But the Bible doesn't say that the king is a heathen. He's a Persian, or whatever you want to call it. What is their biblical name? We'll get that in a little bit. But they're both heathen, sis. Is that all?
Sons of
The water, sir, that was it.
What's the name? Ishmael. I'm not sure the specific nation, but they are descendants of Ishmael.
Of course. I'll get that. We'll figure that out. It's the same person. Like, they will be my battle. Oh no, that's Israel. What's that one that talking about how Iran will come down on? You get it. But yeah, we'll get their biblical name. But those two people were both heathens. The king is a heathen. The Queen Vashti, she was a heathen. But as all empires are, the king, he'll create a harem, which is just, he's gonna go out and tell his servants to go pick the finest women who act right, and then they'll go pick some women, and he'll debate if he wants to marry them or not. All right. We're gonna. Could you pull up the biblical name of the Iranians for me while he's reading? You can go ahead and keep reading out.
Verse 8. Write ye also for the Jews, as it liketh you, in the king's name, and seal it with the king's ring. For the writing which is written in the king's name and sealed with the king's ring may no man reverse.
So basically, the king's like, look, whatever you want to do, man, go write you a new law, which is don't ever give me this power. Don't ever give me the power to go write a law in America, boy. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get some counsel on what I do. But basically, the king is saying to Esther and to Mordecai, go write you a law so that you can reverse the evil that Haman has done. You can't take the law away, but you can create a new law that will basically make that old law null and void. Go ahead.
Verse 9. Then were the king's scribes called at that time in the third month, that is the month of Sivan, on the 23rd day thereof. And it was written according to all that Mordecai commanded unto the Jews, and to the lieutenants, and to the deputies and rulers of the provinces which are from India unto Ethiopia.
Go to verse 11.
Verse 11, wherein the king granted the Jews which were in every city to gather themselves together and to stand for their life, to destroy, to slay, and to cause to perish all the power of the people in province that would assault them. Both.
So this is the law that they wrote. Defend yourself. And then we live by that today. See, the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge is not a violent organization, but we do believe in self-defense. And this is essentially what they wrote. They said, look, you cannot just go, you want to try these brothers, go ahead. These brothers are now going to come together and stand against you on this allotted day that Haman wrote could happen, where you could get a bounty for an Israelite head. Go ahead, keep reading.
Verse 12. Upon one day in all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus, namely upon the 13th day and of the 12th month, which is the month Adar. 13. The copy of the writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all people, and that the Jews should be ready against that day to avenge themselves on their enemies. 14.
And that day is today.
Right.
And that day is today. This is a day where we celebrate self-defense. I want everybody to know that your life is precious. Your life is precious. You should not suffer any disrespect from a heathen. We meet force with force. So if somebody is saying something evil against you, feel free to call them some sort of, like, if a lot of times I get asked on the job or something like that, what you gonna do if a white person say the N-word? I'm not gonna fight him. It's just a word, right? But I will then proceed to educate him about how his family comes from caves and they're incestuous. They like to sleep with each other's sisters, and they like to sleep with their sisters and their moms. And so you could go on to that. That's a form of self-defense. And if somebody ever tries to put their hands on you, you feel free to protect your life. That's what we encourage in the ISUPK, because your life is precious to us. And if I ever hear about something happening to you, it would just break my heart, and it would bring me to so much anger, But if somebody ever tried to do something to you, I want to know that you did something to them. I want to, so on. I'm not gonna get into too much into that. Go ahead, keep reading that.
If I could.
Go ahead.
It's heavy because we see what happens if you decide to do the opposite. If you decide to cower and to succumb to the treatment of your oppressor, if you decide to join your oppressor and agree with your oppressor when he decides to oppress your people, that doesn't work. It never has. You know what I mean? It might delay the inevitable, but eventually you're going to be consumed with your people. But this happened. The reason why we was able to have success, you know what I mean, is because the Lord was with us, because we stayed strong in the order that the Most High gave us. And that's what gave us success. You cower, you're going to the fear and the failure and the persecution that you're trying to avoid, you're going to make sure that oppression happens to you. So like you.
Hey, that's an excellent point. Give him a hand. You know, a lot of things are avoided when God is with you. So you'll avoid most what do you call that? Altercations, most experiences that people have to suffer if you just follow God's laws. You live your life like a certain type of man, a certain type of woman. Certain things won't even find you, right? Um, but you know, and another example of that is just how Mordecai, Esther, and all these Israelites who fasted and prayed and sought after God in this crisis. See, they didn't start to they didn't start some militia. They didn't start some sort of military faction to try to go up against this captivity that God put them in. They waited on God. They prayed, they sought the Lord. And that's what we should do. That's what we are doing here in the ISUPK. But us as a nation, you at home who's still smoking weed, it's World War III time. When are you gonna pick it up? When are you gonna give it up? You at home with you are the hang up to salvation. Not to be rude like that, but salvation can come to our people a lot sooner if you make a change. If you pick up your cross like Christ commanded and you carry your burdens. But so often do people want to be saved by their oppressor. Too often do people want things to magically change and be whisked away. This is a change that comes within. Before something before your oppressor gets his knee off your neck, you have to change internally. We have to change internally. And if you want to learn how to do that, you come into this building, you log into these classes, you call our phone, and we will educate you, brother. We'll be there, damn near hold your hand the whole way. Sisters, you too. All right. You got anything out?
No, Salaki, if I could, I don't want to, take it too far off course. But what you just brought up was such a heavy point. Like in so many instances, we try to wait for our oppressor to get his boot off our neck. But we're waiting on a cue to for World War III to start. Because we, especially up in here, we know that World War III, that's going to be the last war. You know what I mean? And we're waiting for World War III. But what you got to understand is we're in World War III. It's happening right now. Like if you look at history, you look at World War II. World War II started, I believe, in 1939 when Germany invaded Poland. But World War III or World War II wasn't considered World War II until about 1945. Right. So what does that tell you? If you know about history, that should tell you that right now we're in World War III.
We'll give it a name later.
God, you're right. Yeah.
We don't. The bomb don't drop, and we be like, oh, when that first shot in the revolution, they say the shot that was heard around the world, because that's when England started moving. That when that American soldier shot that British soldier, they weren't like, oh yeah, this is definitely the revolution now. No, right. They figured it out later. They're right. Like, oh yeah, that was when it started. That point is when it started.
Right.
I don't, we see the future, damn near, in the UPK. I don't need to wait until somebody else announces it. I know it's here.
Right.
It's right here. It's been written in the Bible. It's been right in your face the whole time. I just pray you listen to these brothers. This brother right here, when he tells you. All right. Let's go to chapter 9.
It's the book of Esther, chapter 9 and verse 1. Now in the 12th month, that is the month Adar, on the 13th day of the same, when the king's commandment and his decree drew near to be put in execution, in the day that the enemies of the Jews hoped to have power over them, though it was turned to the contrary, that the Jews had rule over them that hated them.
Let me tell you something. This is going to this this day, this holy day, when I was coming into the truth, it shook the Christianity off of me. I stopped. You just start seeing what God is saying, man. God don't like everybody.
Right.
God actually hates people who hate you. That's what Christians love to, but they think they believe that, right? Christians be like, "Oh yeah, see, God's against you because you came against me," but they don't think that about white people. This is actually what the Bible is teaching. This is
Right.
actually what the Bible is saying. When these people raise up arms against us, raise up evil ideas and conspiracies against us, if we do what God commanded, if we follow the words of this Bible, then it will be turned on their head. It will be turned on their. I'm gonna have a whole ICE division in the kingdom of heaven, brother.
I'm right.
Immigration control enforcement. Where is your papers? Where's your plantation? I'm gonna be on your head. What's a good white name? Bobby. This is because this is what God blesses those who follow Him with, and this is not any sort of like, what white people like to do. They like to be like, "Why are you preaching hatred?" Well, who started this hatred? Let's start right there.
Right.
Let's start right there. Who started this hatred? Israelites did not march into Persia and wage war with Persia. Blacks and Latinos did not did not wage war with the Europeans so that they could inverse come and battle us. Y'all started this. I am just happy that God settles it. And we are, this is another example that we are not a violent organization. We're not coming up, we're going to raise arms against you. God is going to do this. God is going to do, it's going to be so, it's going to be like your head spinning off your shoulders because you're not going to know what's happening. Just like how Israel, get them videos I got up. Israel and the US just struck Iran with these missiles, and they don't think, what do they think? That Iran's not going to do anything back? This is you get this video. This is Iran striking Beirut. I ain't gonna lie, not Iran. This is Israel striking Beirut. When Israel shot these missiles off, they said, "Hey, we might as well shoot it at everybody while we doing it, right? We just shoot at the whole region." They started lighting up. They shot at Beirut. I think they said that Israel unconfirmed, or they said Israel actually shot into Saudi Arabia as well. They shot into those oil reserves were actually shot by Israelis. That's what they're saying. Basically, they're creating all the enemies in the world, just like the oppressor did. If you have all these enemies, will you be surprised eventually when you fall? Is it some sort of surprise, or is there a conspiracy against you when you fall? No.
Right.
One would call it justice. Some would call it karma or whatever. It's just the Lord. You can play that video out. These are Israel into harmless city blocks, just for no reason. Brother, this is insane. There's a video. If you could pull it up, you could get the next video. There's a video I seen of some Israeli soldiers in a hole crying. I don't know. Yeah, go ahead and get that one. Full screen this. This is what being turned back on your head. If you shoot a missile, if you start to oppress these people, why wouldn't they fire back at you? Why wouldn't they defend themselves? You know that Israel and the U.S. were supposedly in peace talks and negotiations with Iran. Did you know that the Ayatollah had a personal rule to never proliferate nuclear weapons? It was his own personal thing. Well, now that the Ayatollah is dead, why wouldn't the military of Iran just make nukes? Why wouldn't they just make nukes? They have some of the most advanced intercontinental ballistic missiles on the planet. And, y'all just damn near want the prophecies to be fulfilled. This is what This is what's this? Isn't this Iran shooting back into Israel, breaking their Iron Dome? The Israeli airport getting hit. All these missiles making their hits through that protective Iron Dome. They're so happy to tout.
Right.
Brothers and sisters, it's time to it's time to get right. I'm gonna tell y'all something. What's not gonna work is that Rainbow Coalition. And I'm gonna tell you another thing not gonna work. You FBAs that be crying and hoping the white man gonna give you that FBA thing is a CIA operation. That is a CIA operation. That is the dumbest thing I ever heard.
Right.
Oh, what? Where you from? Jamaica? You're not black. You're not black. No. This is foundational Black Americans. Yeah, that is the most divisive. Eventually, they'll be saying, "Where you from? Louisiana?" No. You're not black. You only black. All black people are from Georgia. This is the most divisive thing when we need each other the most right now. Blacks,
Right.
Hispanics, and natives. It's time to gather together, like the Bible says. You got another video?
Okay. If I may,
Go ahead.
while we transitioning, it's so heavy because we try to be so divisive with one another to do what? To get more nothing from our oppressor? They done took everything from you. And that's the reason why you're fighting for reparations. That you're trying to keep other nations that's your nation from. But they're not giving it to you in the first place. They didn't give it to you when you came out of captivity, when they first promised you 30 acres, 40 acres and a mule. So now you're gonna try to cut off your brother and your sister to get more nothing? It's ridiculous, Salakia.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They call that you got to quit begging. It's a crazy amount of begging going on in the Black community. From Umar Johnson begging single mothers to FBA's begging white people in the weirdest way. You know what they say? They say all that begging we were doing 10 years ago didn't work. What how can we convince white people? Maybe if we say they just got to pay less of us. So let's shed these Jamaicans, shed these Dominicans, shed all these other black people who suffered transatlantic slavery, and just tell them they just got to pay us. That is the most ridiculous, childish thing I've ever heard. All just to beg, and essentially through all this begging, coon for the white man. Yes,
Right.
you're cool. FBAs are coons. If you start to hate other black people, all under the auspices of begging for money from a white man, you're a coon. I don't know how to tell you that, brother. You're a coon. But off of that topic, this is what's coming up. This is what's coming up. This is reality. Reparations is not a reality. I don't know why you would expect the oppressor to turn a new leaf and treat us correctly one day. When has police violence stopped? Has the has systematic oppression stopped? The redlining, the overinflate, the underhiring of black people, the overpay of white people, the underpay of black people. Has any of that stopped? Hispanics and Latinos make slave wages to this day. There are still people in slavery to this day in like the Mississippi and Alabama. I've seen it on video. These people do not, there's no amount of begging that these people is gonna that these people will appreciate, man. That's why when Mordecai didn't bow down to Haman, it was the right thing to do. And I don't want to. That's why you FBAs are wrong to bow down. You keep your honor. You keep your respect. You get in anything else, they try to take away. They try to take your life or whatever. You find the Lord's protection. Of course, defend yourself, but you might not have to defend yourself like Mordecai didn't if you follow after the Lord. Because this is what's coming up next. I don't know how you're gonna box these missiles, brother.
Right.
I don't know how you're gonna box them. I've been in the gym a couple times, because I know how to do some push-ups. I don't know how to box these missiles. I don't know how to slip the jab on that ICBM just yet. I'm working on it. I've been working on it. The cross counter on the nukes. I've been trying to get my timing right. You know what I mean? But it's just I can't say I could do it consistently. You know what I mean? Tariq Nasheed, Umar Johnson, all you fake black leaders, you're leading our community into a pit, into hell, with your lies, man. You can go back to the scriptures, brother. I think is you want to? Is there any more on this?
Not sure.
So yeah, essentially, Jews gathered together under the law of the land. You know what I mean? You got to have the law of the land. The king backed this, defended themselves, and you know what it says? They also took spoils of the men who came against them. Because in the Haman's law, it was like you kill them Israelites, you take whatever they got, and I'll pay you. Well, now it's the opposite. If you go against these Israelites, they'll take whatever you had, and and they'll get paid. So, well, that's what we're commemorating today. This day, all those years ago, on the 14th and the 3rd, or the 12th of the 12th day of the 12th month and the 13th day of the 12th month, those days are today, and we are still remembering that beautiful sacrifice from Hadassah or Esther, Mordecai, and everybody else. Then let's go to the editions of Esther, so I can helpfully shake off any Christianity to any viewer at home, anybody in the room. These are some of the most beautiful scriptures. Yeah, that's it. I read. Go to chapter 5.
Yeah.
Should be 15. This is Esther's prayer, right? And you can get a real insight on how this sister thought, how much she cared, what she cared about, and what she hated, what she liked. And this woman's prayer was answered by God. Always remember that. Always remember that this is a prayer. This is how you pray to God. This is something that everybody could learn from. Is this it, Ak, or is it in 14? Let me see.
Ended the prayer, so it might be in the previous.
Yeah, let me get where it starts. It says Queen Esther also.
Oh.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
This is the book of additions to Esther in the Apocrypha, chapter 14 and verse 1. Queen Esther also, being in fear of death, resorted unto the Lord.
See, Queen Esther, she didn't think she was going to make it. She called on to the Lord. Go ahead.
Verse 2, and laid away her glorious apparel and put on the garments of anguish and mourning.
See, she didn't think this is a time to be fly. A lot of women think that their regality, how beautiful they can make themselves look, the expensive clothes and designer, expensive things that they have, it shows their value in society. That's not what the Lord sees. The Lord doesn't care about what expensive things you own, how all those beautiful things you wear. He cares about what's in your heart, what you've done, and what you're asking for. Go ahead.
And instead of precious ointments, she covered her head with ashes and dung, and she humbled her body greatly, and all the places of her joy she filled with her torn hair.
Now, this is the queen of the current empire of the world. She said, look, I'm nothing. I'm like the dirt. She humbled herself down to basically as low as she could be, so that she could ask genuinely in her heart for this thing here. Go ahead, keep reading.
Verse 3, and she prayed unto the Lord God of Israel, saying, O my Lord, thou only art our king. Help me, desolate woman, which have no helper but thee. Verse 4, for my danger is in mine hand. 5.
See, she's saying, she's praying to the Lord, coming to the Lord with all honor and respect, saying, I'm nothing. How many women think that they're the highest on the earth because of the expensive things they own,
Right.
the men that they have sex with. Oh, I'm having sex with, Shaquille O'Neal. I'm having sex with Elon Musk. I'm better than you. Esther said that I am nothing. That I'm a desolate woman, and my danger is right in front of me. The danger is right in front of me, Lord. And she's asking the Lord as low as possible for help. Go ahead, keep reading.
Verse 5. From my youth up, I have heard in the tribe of my family that thou, O Lord, tookest Israel from among all people, and our fathers from all their predecessors.
See, this is a very beautiful thing to teach your children. She said, from a child, I was taught that you took us from everybody else. You separated us from everybody else. Read that again, Ak.
From my youth up, I have heard in the tribe of my family that thou, O Lord, tookest Israel from among all people, and our fathers from all their predecessors.
This is what I mean when I say these verses in the Bible will shake the Christianity off of you. God, she was taught this as a young girl. God don't love everybody. Sorry. I'm going to teach my son the same thing. I might be too happy to do it.
Right.
This is a imperative for every one of us to understand as well. God separated us from these people, and he did it for a reason. Even if you don't understand it, maybe you don't even like that, God doesn't love everybody like he loves you. Well, that's fine. But just know that that is what it is. That's just the truth. All right. Go ahead, keep reading. And for a perpetual inheritance, and we're God's inheritance forever. So God's gonna keep us forever. We're the thing that God will never get rid of. We're the constant on the world. We're never going to be replaced.
Right.
Go ahead.
For a perpetual inheritance, and thou hast performed whatsoever thou didst promise them. 6. And now we have sinned before thee. Therefore therefore hast thou given us into the hands of our enemies.
See, Esther also understands that why she is where she is. She understands that although she's the queen, she's in captivity.
Good night.
Yeah, she's rich. She's the most rich girl on the planet. You was talking about how the king would give her half of and the queen got other women, by the way. Let me tell you something. That's a bad shorty right there. I got 12 wives, but you can have half of everything. That's tough. Now, she could have half of the whole kingdom, but you know what she knows in her mind? I'm in hell.
Right.
I'm in hell. I don't know why that's so hard for all these celebrities to understand. All these rich people to understand. Brother, you know what? All right, it's my personal grief, man. I just hate a coon. I hate a coon.
God.
Now, this is the farthest thing from a coon. This is some Harriet Tubman type. This sister is just amazing. All right, just knowing she does her worldview. Think about this: the type of view of what's around you to have all this money, have all this fortune, live in this house, eat anything you want, and understand and know still that I am in hell. I am in captivity for the sins of my forefathers, and that's what God said he would do, because that's what God said he would do. Go ahead.
If I may.
Go ahead.
Salaki. And that right there, what we just read, is what makes these sisters in here so special. Because right now, as we're in hell, our sisters are incentivized to oppress Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American men. Like you get, you're incentivized to, sleep with whoever you want to, and you got the option to go to the abortion clinic and get rid of it, or you can have the baby and put that man on child support. Like you ain't even got to prove that the man is the father. Like I know so many brothers that didn't raise children until the legal age, and then found out that they didn't paid all this child support money. They didn't spent all this time raising this child just to find out that it wasn't theirs. Right. You know what I mean? This is the incentive that our oppressor gives Black, Hispanics, and Native American women to oppress our brothers. And this sister, like many of our sisters, just like all the sisters that's up in here, our sisters choose not to do that. They forego that incentive that your oppressor wants to give them for a greater reward from the Most High God. Salakia.
Right. See, you can't be a sellout. You cannot sell yourself to the bottom for the bottom dollar. Really, you're selling yourself short anyways. God creates anything of value. Everything of value is God's creation. You don't think he'll give you much more? He said
Right.
he made that in his promises. But if you over here trying to sell yourself short early so you can just lift your head slightly out of hell, well, you're nothing like this sister. This sister hated everything she had. She hated it. The little, but you know, my sisters nowadays will sell out their their child's father
Good night.
for a little $300 to $1,000 check every month. It's just unacceptable. And you know, not to say that brothers aren't doing evil as well, but you know, sisters, you're nothing like this sister we're celebrating. See, women always talk about y'all talk about that man-centered book. Dude, not today. This is not today. This ain't no man-centered book. This ain't no what do they call it? Misogynistic book today.
Damn right, get out of here.
It's not a misogynistic book today. This is about a beautiful sister, man. And you could be like that, but maybe it's not that we're misogynistic. Maybe you're just not a woman to be regarded.
Right.
Maybe you just not worth a damn. And that's the problem. And I do that and I say that about brothers that ain't worth a damn either. It's not, it's not hard for me. It's not about being we're not women hating in here. You're just not a woman to love. All right, go ahead, keep going.
Verse 8. Nevertheless, it satisfied them not that we are in bitter captivity. Good night. But they have stricken hands with their idols.
See, look. Nevertheless, it satisfied them not. They're not even, brother. They're not satisfied. Wasn't Haman not satisfied when Mordecai didn't bow? I said, damn, he's in captivity.
Right.
He's in slavery. All his people are the lowest in this evil empire. Nah, it's not enough. Let's kill him. I gotta kill him now. How dare he not bow to me? This is what Esther is praying and understanding. Nevertheless, it satisfied them not that we are in bitter captivity. This is terrible what blacks, Latinos, and natives have to suffer here in America. And it's still not enough. Right. It's still not enough pain for them. They gotta, all the little microaggressions white people do, all the little, they gotta add on to it. They have to feel it every day. They gotta call the police on children playing on the corner. They have to try to get one of them killed, try to get you killed. They call a white woman. You could be filming a white woman, filming her, and she's calling the police crying, oh my God, there's this black man, I'm scared. Because it's not enough that you're poor. Right. It's not enough that you'll never be, you'll never get over, you'll never be number one in this country. It's not enough for them. They want you dead at a whim. Right. That's their spirit, man.
If I may.
Go ahead.
No, it's heavy what you're saying, because not only, because they could just, they got all the power. You're in, like the brother said, you in captivity. They could just, take your life and put you in a hole somewhere. But not only do they got to take your life, but they got to do it in some theatrical way. Like, it's not enough that they take your life. You got to be on your knees begging for your life. You got to be begging, calling your mother, I can't breathe. And then they kill you on camera. You know what I mean? It's like, I can't remember the measurements of the gallows that Haman had built, but the whole point of those gallows, I think, was like 10, 15 foot. You know what I mean? So like the whole nation will see blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans hanging. Don't that sound familiar? Salakia.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do when they videotape us. Videotape a brother. That's what they did with George Floyd. They videotaped him, killed him, and said, what was the problem? It's really, this is a sick game to them. That's why that one that one ICE agent was self-recording. This was not a body cam. When he killed that white woman, he had the phone in his lapel or whatever, recording for his own amusement when he shot that white woman, because this is their kink. This gets them, this is the pinnacle of enjoyment and pleasure for them.
Right.
These are the people we live next to, man. You know, uh, and if I sound hateful to you tonight, well, then you just do not understand our oppressor. You do not understand white people. If
Right.
I sound like the hateful one tonight, you just do not get it. You don't get it, man. Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton just went up in front of Congress or whoever to lie about the Epstein files and their involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. And it was just so disgusting to me to see them get away with it. All you got to do is go up to Washington D.C. and lie for 4 hours, and then you get away with, you know, scarring all those young women's lives for the forever.
Right.
Lying for 4 hours in front of Congress. That's it, because they're rich and powerful and white. Man, God has to come and render justice. That's why Judgment Day is coming, because judgment isn't gonna come onto this. It's never gonna come in the house of the thief. They're never going to give righteous, proper judgment here. And I don't expect it to, but I'll wait for God. I'll wait for God's judgment. And he'll do what's right, as he always does. And it's the only thing is, it's our job to be righteous, so we don't get judged along with them, man. Go ahead, keep reading now.
Verse 9. And they will abolish the thing that thou wilt, and that they will abolish the thing that thou with thy mouth hast ordained, and destroy thine inheritance, and stop the mouth of them that praise thee.
See, they want to cut. They want to. God's punishment out of his own mouth was this captivity. This particular captivity is what God had ordained for the Israelites. But Haman, he said, shoot, it's not good enough. Kill him.
Right. Good night.
It's not good enough. Kill him. And now Esther is praying and saying, God, they want to do more. They want to punish us harder. And this should have been a red flag for Israelites. To eventually we be in the hands of these devils one day. But Esther said, Lord, they wanna do against what you ordained, what you commanded, which was this captivity. They want to destroy us, destroy thine inheritance, and stop the mouth of them that praise thee. You know what I mean? And quench the glory of thy house and thine altar. That's what these heathens want to do. This is such a beautiful prayer that Hadassah did. This is poetic. This is so beautiful. I try to step my prayer game up on this one. I don't get low enough sometimes. I don't know. I definitely don't. I got to pre-write them. You know what I mean? I be trying to freestyle prayers. She had to write this one down. There's no way. But go ahead. I keep. Well, let's check the chat. Go. You got it, Yahaja.
Nope.
So like, if I could, Officer Barakiad, to your point, when you were speaking on, I forgot, it started with an H. The man's name you just, yeah,
Haman.
and he had showed no mercy. He reminded me of Nathan Bedford Forrest, who was a man in the military, and he had came across some African American soldiers with white soldiers within the military, but predominantly African American soldiers that had surrendered because they were outnumbered, and they surrendered and wanted mercy. Nathan Bedford Forrest, along with his white troops, showed no mercy, and then hence it caused a massacre. And they assaulted those black African American soldiers and showed no mercy to them at all.
And they're fellow soldiers, right?
Khan.
See, it's one thing to commit a war crime on the enemy, but to do a war crime on your fellow soldier, brother, how much do you hate me? How much hatred do you really have for me in your heart?
Right.
Black people have done nothing to white people in this country. Latinos have done nothing at all to Caucasians in this country or anywhere in history. And yet they hate us this much. I always was so curious about that. It had to be just God's design, because nothing makes sense how much for everything they do against us, man. Black people have been nothing but loyal, loving, forgiving, and caring to Caucasians, white people in this country, man. Forgiving and when we started to get angry and we started to feel a certain way, then Martin Luther King came and said, "No, we gotta forgive them. We gotta let them keep sicking dogs on us and beating us." And we started to forgive them all over again, believing that racism could truly go away. No, this is what you know what year that was that incident happened. That was probably after Martin Luther King.
This was actually, it was called the Fort Pillow Massacre. The Battle of Pillow in Tennessee was 1864.
No, it was before, but still, many things like this occurred. Many black soldiers go missing in Iraq or all over the world because they see you for who you are. And yet you've been misled to believe that, we just got to forget about race, stop talking about it, and then racism will disappear magically. That's not how the world works. That's not how reality works. You better pay attention to your race. Go ahead.
So like if I could, one more thing. I recently watched a podcast, and it was two Edomites having a conversation about, captivity and slavery upon black people. And one of the Edomites said, he said, black people should thank us for slavery. They should thank us that they went through slavery because it was the best thing that happened to them. They should just forget about it. It was so long ago. And by him saying that one statement just goes to further to your point that racism will never stop with these people in rulership because it's just embedded in them. He said we should thank them. Thank them for what? Cutting open women's stomach and putting the babies in alligator infested waters, and chasing down slaves and lynching them on trees. He's saying you should thank us for that. Salaki.
Yeah. Sadly, there are black people with that mentality, man. That's an excellent point you're bringing up. There are black people with the mentality that if we thank them, if we forgive enough, that magically they'll just stop hitting us. You're in the weirdest, most toxic relationship I've ever seen. Right. Some of my people, man. See, you better start. You gotta wake up, man. I'm pleading with you at this point. Blacks, Latinos, and natives, I'm actually pleading with you to stop being so stupid. Stop being so dumb. What makes you think that this person who's had all the power of life and death over you and through no cause of your own actions has done nothing but beat, murdered, R-worded you, and then you think that if you speak soft enough, if you have more compassion, if you're kinder, that they'll change? You're ignorant. You're dumb. You're an absolute dummy. There are other words I want to say that I won't say, but one of them starts with an R. You're not smart. You're not smart. And I would beg you to actually wisen up, because sadly, dumb people have kids, Caucasian. That's the scariest part of it all. I think about these things, and your kids, if you don't wisen up, will be on some island somewhere. And that's what breaks my heart the most. And that's why I get so little sleep, Caucasian. That's why I get so little sleep. I might need to start praying more as much as I work, so that this can be over. And it would help us. It would help all of us. Not to water for now. I'll just come get it later, sis. The water. It would help all of us if you, everyone personally, look in that mirror and say, I'm going to change for the betterment of my people. I'm going to change for the betterment of myself. And that might mean that you can't love white people as much as you do. Right. Surprise. If loving white people is wrong, you got to get right, brother. Go, you can keep reading, Knock.
Verse 10.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Salaki.
Verse 10. And open the mouths of the heathen to set forth the praises of the idols, and to magnify a fleshy king forever. Verse 11.
Right. See, oh, this is a beautiful thing that people don't understand. White people want to worship the devil. They want to worship Satan. Read that again, Ike. I'm sorry.
And open the mouths of the heathen to set forth the praises of the idols.
If white people are in charge, they're not going to worship God. See, a lot of the reasoning to why black people serve white people to this day is because black pastors tell you that's what God wants you to do. If you serve white people, you're serving the devil.
Right.
You're serving Satan. I don't know how to say this. Those Epstein files literally allude to a satanic child trafficking cult where they worship and sacrifice kids to the devil, brother. Moloch, Baal. What's that other one that's transgender too? What's that one that's transgender? One of them demons from Babylon that is transgender. That's literally what they're doing. So if you love God, you would not give no power to these people, man. And that's the thing, though. Before they got to really cement you into that, they stopped you from loving God. They convinced you to stop loving God. That's a sad truth. You got something, Yahaja? Baphomet, that's the one. That brother knows what I'm talking about, man. Baphomet, that transgender God, that male and female God at the same time. You think that all these things that they're putting out in the politics is some sort of coincidence?
Right.
You think it's coincidental? This is the worship of ancient Babylonian gods. Now it's going into conspiracy crazy time, Kalkazai. This is what I needed. This is what I needed. You think that your kid feels like a girl? No, they've been putting that in his head and in his cereal while you were at work, working your 10-hour shift.
Right.
Now you come home and he says, "Mommy, I feel like a girl," because the teacher was over there drilling him like, "You're a girl, Tommy. You're a girl, Tommy. You're a girl, Tommy," or whatever. You know what I mean? And now you are worshiping an ancient Babylonian god, and somewhere far off in a forest or on an island, they're burning children up to this same god, man. Do I gotta pull up the Epstein files? Should I pull up the Epstein files? I could do it. I know the file numbers. You're gonna want to and this is so manifold, right? It starts so simply and plainly in the flesh, but it gets very spiritual very quickly. Loving white people is hating God.
Right.
It's hating God generally. Now, if white people love you, now you know they love God. That's spiritual, and you see it in the flesh. And now these white people, they can't love you in word. They got to love you in deed. That's why we before we clear a white person, we make them kiss boots. So before he get even halfway cleared around here, let's see how much you love us for real. Because love is an action word. It's not some sort of feeling in your chest. There are people who feel like they love their wife and they beat her. There are people who feel like they love their kids and starve them to death. Well, love isn't a feeling. Love is an action. And brother, if white people aren't showing you that they love you, then they do not love you. Don't you show them you love them? When they call you an N-word, you give white people the N-word pass.
Right.
You let them call you the N-word. You laugh. Ha 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 ha. There was some black dude who's dating an Asian girl on some stream, on some internet streamer. Asian girlfriend calling him the N-word live on the internet. And he's just sitting there like, oh, whoa. It got so bad, even the racist white streamer said, "Bro, you're not gonna say nothing? Like, you're not gonna say nothing to her at all?" He said, "No, man, it's cool." The black man said about his Asian girl, "No, it's cool." The white man said, "Oh, you're a coon." He said, "You're coon maxing."
Good night.
Your coon maxing is insane. If you love them and they don't love you, well, brother, you're serving Satan. You're serving the devil. You know what I mean? This is what Esther was talking about in verse 10. And open the mouths of the heathen to set forth the praises of the idols. See, if these people win, if they're on top, then God, you won't get the credit that you deserve. See, y'all, see the oppressor thinks that they're on top because they're stronger, they're smarter, they took it, they shiestied us. They got the advantage over us. This is all because God allowed it. This is not because they're advanced.
Right.
In fact, they're quite remedial. This is, but in Esther's beautiful prayer, she's saying, God, you must stop them, because they're just gonna think that their God is the God, that their demonic child sacrificing God is the one. And Matt, go ahead, you read verse 11.
Verse 11. O Lord, give not thy scepter unto them that be nothing, and let them not laugh at our fall, but turn their device upon themselves, and make him an example that hath begun this against us.
This is the prayer she prayed before she went in to talk to the king, man. She prayed that this be turned on their head, and that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. I pray for worse things than that happened to this devil. I pray for I understand the things that they do. You know what I mean? And this is the spirit of God. See, now what does your preacher tell you to pray for? Lord, I pray you what do Christians pray for their enemies? I pray, you just educate them, or what do they say?
Touch their heart.
Touch their heart, Lord. I pray you touch their heart and make them understand. And Lord, I pray you watch over and bless them. And that's not what Esther prayed for.
Right.
Not for this demon, not for these people. Esther said, whatever they want to do to me, Lord, let us do it to them. Right. Let us do it to them. And Haman had no issues wanting to seek the death of Israelites. Why is it bad for Esther to pray for this? Go ahead, keep reading.
Verse 12. Remember, O Lord, make thyself known in time of our affliction, and give me boldness, O King of the nations, and Lord of all power.
See, this is the beauty of this, man. Esther sought the Lord, and the Lord answered. This is what we're all coming back to, man. During these times, these times are going to get very hard. We all need to seek the Lord and be found righteous and esteemed, so that our prayers can be answered, and that we be found, untouched when our enemies come to do harm to us, man. You got anything? I'm gonna close out the class with this.
No. Well, if I could, like what we just read right here, this is the justice of the Lord. Like what Barakia was saying, like trying to have equality, or trying to, your oppressor oppress you, and you you want them to excel. That's not of the Lord. You know what I mean? But that's all over the Bible, in the book of Obadiah, in the book of Joel, in the book of Revelations. For Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to receive justice, the things that your oppressor has done to you, it has to be returned onto their own head. And they have to drink double what they've done to you. That's justice right there. Salakia.
Hey, that's excellent. Give me verse 15. I got a few more verses on this. I almost forgot the most important part.
Verse 15. Thou knowest all things, O Lord. Thou knowest that I hate the glory of the unrighteous, and abhor the bed of the uncircumcised.
See, this is what everybody needs to hate. Every sister, especially. You should never want to sleep with a heathen. You should hate the glory. You should hate all the riches of these evil people. As soon as you find out this man is as soon as you find out it's the devil or whatever, who cares about their riches? As soon as you find out that this Israelite is a sellout, you should hate them. Go ahead.
What y'all sister say? She said, I hate it here.
Yeah, I hate it here. Yeah, you should hate it here. That's how Esther felt. She hated it here. Go ahead. But she's about to speak how she felt about the king. See, people basically, people always think that, Esther was going. She was not going. This sister was a righteous sister.
Right.
She hated that heathen. And this is a verse that can further shake the Christianity off of you. This is something that's in her prayer to God, so that she can show God that she is righteous. She said, Lord, I hate this heathen. I hate him and his uncircumcised bed. Go ahead, read that again.
Verse 15. Thou knowest all things, O Lord. Thou knowest that I hate the glory of the unrighteous and abhor the bed of the uncircumcised.
See, she said, I don't love these riches. I don't love being the king of this unrighteous nation. I don't like this. And I abhor is a strong hatred.
Right.
It's like a deep hatred. I abhor the bed of the uncircumcised. This man that I must lay with, she hates it to her core, man. That's how a righteous woman thinks when she's stuck in a predicament as she is, not willingly laying with white boys. To my amazement, just to my amazement, just recently, about last month, a black girl in Bryan, Texas, got family annihilated by her white husband, by her white boyfriend. The family annihilation, by the way, is something specific to white people. Black men don't do that. Generally speaking, black men just leave. They just go away. But when you're with the oppressor, who knows what could happen to you? Go ahead, keep reading. You got something?
No.
You go ahead, keep reading.
Verse 16. Thou knowest my necessity, for I abhor the sign of my high estate, which is upon my head in the days wherein I shew myself, and that I abhor it as a menstruous rag.
See, she says that all this riches, all this glory or whatever, her being in this high estate, people look it up at her and like, oh, look at all that gold. She's so nice. She's so rich. She says she hates it. She feels like she's wearing a bloody menstruous rag. This is, if you have ill-gotten gains, you should think like that. If you thinking making all money is the same, you should think like that. Dirty money is no money, especially when it's gotten by selling out your people. And this is a righteous sister, and she knows that. All right, go ahead. I think there's one more.
And that I wear it not when I am private by myself.
And she doesn't wear it if she doesn't have to. She has no joy in the fact that she's the queen, because it comes with having to sleep with this uncircumcised heathen, this disgusting. Did we ever get the name on these Persians? What's the name? What's the name on these Persians? What's the biblical name of the Persians? I'm gonna get that later.
One of the 12 princes, but
I'm gonna get that later. But that's how a righteous sister feels. A righteous man will feel the same way in a very similar fashion. If you're good, but your people are not, then you shouldn't feel good. You shouldn't feel right. That's why it's not wrong to look at these people up in high estates and with all their money who don't do anything for blacks and Latinos and judge them. It's not wrong to do that. Jesus Christ could have sold out. Jesus Christ could have been richer in his last life. He could have been rich, could have been on top, could have been, powerful, whatever. Because what did Satan promise him? All the riches of all the kingdoms of the earth. He could have had that, but he said no, because my people suffereth. I gotta save my people. It's not just about me, man.
Right.
And that's what the Spirit of the Lord is about. That's why we honor Esther, Mordecai, and all those brothers today, man. Do you got anything?
I'm all good to go.
All right. With that, we're gonna close out the class. We're gonna give a courtesy salute to the brothers and sisters, men of Israel. Imadium Shabbat. Imadium Barak. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shabrakatah. Sar, turn to face the sisters. Sisters, Imadim, please stand. Men of Israel, Imadim Shabbat, Imadim, Barak, Yahweh Shamar, Lathabah, Shem Yahweh Shai, Yadi Matah. Oh. All right, Yadi Matah, class dismissed.
Shalom, Israel. It's that time again. The ISUPK, under commanding General Yahana, presents the Lord's 57th annual Passover. That's right, the Lord's 57th annual Passover, April 4th, 2026, in Houston, Texas. All Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are commanded to observe the Lord's Passover. This will be the biggest Passover to date. You do not want to miss this. Fresh lamb, fresh wine, and bitter herbs as commanded by the Most High. Only $200 per person, ages 17 and up. The biggest event of the year. There is only one Passover, and it's under commanding General Yahana. See you there, Israel. Shalom.
Nobody else there to compare to. Train for war, men of war, and warlike apparel. Prefer our leaders, can't get between us. Watch where you stepping.